All right, this next project, if you were a part of our Camp Life is the Best Life session, we made sun tea. And
Saved
I
our
said,
tea bags.
save those tea bags. We're going to use them in an art project. So here we are. We're ready for our art project. Let me. Thought I had a paper towel.
You wouldn't know.
No, it's okay. All right. We're going to make a little notebook with this. And we're using the paper from the tea bag. So it's like this.
So
It's
you
all
have
stained.
to tear it apart and dump the tea
I'll
out.
show you how we're going to do that so that you can see it. And I hesitate to show you the finished project because I don't have a finished project. We're going to decorate this a little bit more. So this is what it kind of looks, this is how it looks like pre-decoration. So we'll do it. These come from the Dollar Tree, 3 for $1. 3 little bitty miniature composition books. And I think you can buy them from Walmart also. They're a little bit bigger and they are 94 cents, I think, for 2. But they're a little bit bigger. If you wanted a bigger one, that would work for you. So like I say, here's an undecorated one, and we're going to make one to this point, and then we'll go from there. All right. So we have our tea bags, and all you're going to do is just cut the top. It's obviously a dried tea bag. I just set them aside at home and let them dry out sitting there. And then open it up, get the tea out, and do the second one. Now, I'm not quite to the point yet where I'm trying to come up with something to do with the little leftovers. And then I'm like, is there a use for this? Is that,
Yeah, you put it in your garden.
Put it in the garden. So we can indeed.
Coffee grounds, tea bag.
We can indeed use just about all of this particular.
And the little paper thing recycles.
Oh my goodness! And you know remember when on Camp Life It's the Best Life we were making the little fire starters and we needed a little piece of string.
Yep. There you go.
There it is. We can totally leave no trace crafting yet again. All right. We're going to use double-sided tape on this, and as we recall, this comes from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to...
You get a kickback from Dollar Tree?
I really should, shouldn't I? Gosh, I use their stuff all the time. So where this, it's got this little black edging, so we're not going to put the tape there. But it is really important in this one that we get pretty much edge-to-edge coverage with this. Here's my block. There it is. So I'm going to put it on all of the edges. And go ahead and go out a little bit. We'll tuck that in, because we really want to get those edges. I didn't get out quite to the edge, so see how I didn't get quite to the edge on that one? I'm gonna pull that piece off, and I'm gonna get one that is indeed up to the edge, because as I say, it's really important that we get it all the way there this time. I'll throw one in the middle as well. And while we're at this point, we'll go ahead and do it to the back also. once you start using this stuff, you get pretty good at using it. When I first started, I felt very awkward dealing with it. But now it's one of my go-to products that I use. And as you saw in another thing that I was making, I think I already said it, about going over to the edge, because we'll just push it back in there. All right. On the cover, we're taking an old book.
Uh-huh.
So I happened to find this book. I don't know. One good thing about, a lot of people, I guess, are just like, oh no, I can't believe you're tearing up a book. But indeed, in fact, but look at this one. Look at how, it's already brown edged on it without even doing anything to it. I do cut the margin of that off so that you've got words all the way to the edge. So we're going to put the book on the cover. Our library has, a lot of times they have a sale for
Worn out books.
they'll have books, they get in so many and they need to cull, and they sell them, but they'll have books out there, like especially like paperbacks, and they'll sell them a bag full for $1. So I'm always on the lookout for the ones that are real tattered, because those are actually the ones that I like to use. All right, so see where I had that adhesive going outside that little curved corner there? I'm just pulling it back in. And did I do that? No. Am I going back side up? Yes, there we go. You probably should peruse your book, make sure that
It's got
there's
dirty
nothing-
words in it.
We don't want to put anything on there that should be. Now, this particular book, the type of book it was, I figured it was going to be safe. So we're going to do it up against this black edge right here, but we're going to cover that.
Okay.
So have no fear.
Just 'cause it's
If
over
you're
there.
off a little bit, it won't hurt anything. And I can see a little bit of the color there where I didn't get it quite in there, but as I say, it'll be okay. Now we'll take scissors and just using the side of the book as a guide. Side of the book as a guide, we'll put it in here. And we got to kind of go around that little curved edge as best we can. But we're going to use a nail file to go, so that if we've got any stray little edges hanging off, it will be okay. All right.
Could you use newspaper?
You could.
It's printed.
Yeah, you
So,
could.
yeah.
For sure.
Or wrapping paper?
Well, think about, we're going to put tea bags over top of it.
Oh, okay.
So you would have to be, some would work.
Yeah,
Some wrapping paper would work just fine.
but not all.
Yeah. Now, that's not to say that you couldn't do this notebook. You don't have to do the tea bags.
Oh, okay.
You wouldn't have to. But a lot of people really like this. They call it a vintage look.
Crackle.
Sort of, so if you use the tea bags, it gives it that quality. Now, I had some wood grain type paper, so I put that on the back. I thought it kind of matched pretty well. And there we go. Do a little more trimming.
Now, if they bought a kit, they'll be actually being able to do this as we go.
Exactly. We'll have, or you still might want to just watch first, but you would have all the stuff in it. And I'm pretty sure I understood that you can replay
Oh, okay.
these. They'll be on the council website, and you can watch them again. You see I got over a little bit there? Just trim it off. Okay. Now you could use sandpaper, nail file, whatever. The best, go from your good side over. Give it a little varnish. Looks good. We won't worry about this side yet because we've got to still do our tea bags on it. Now, what we're going to use, I have a couple of things. This is Mod Podge. You can buy Mod Podge at any craft store. You can also buy it at the Dollar Tree. They have a small bottle for $1. You can make your own though.
Oh.
Mod Podge is 2 parts white glue to 1 part water.
Thin white glue.
So it's thin white glue.
Okay.
And white glue dries clear. So you're never any problem. Now
And so if you've got younger girls, you could use school glue.
absolutely. Just add a little water to it.
All right.
Now, talking about using it with young girls, this dries clear.
Okay.
It wouldn't hurt to. You don't have to do a paintbrush. You don't have to have any fancy tools. You can use your fingers.
All right.
I found this cool thing though at the Dollar Tree. I love the Dollar Tree. It is called a silicone facial mask applicator.
Also, it's probably in the beauty section.
It is. It's in the beauty section, and it comes in various colors. So for $1, you've got this silicone paintbrush,
Which you can wash out.
which you wash out. Super easy. And in fact, quite honestly, when I use Mod Podge with it, I go ahead and it's best to just go ahead and let it dry,
And then it'll chip off.
and then just peel it off. It works great. So I buy these whenever I see them. I don't see them all the time. Now I use a little bit of Reynolds wrap.
Okay.
And that because I did the first time that I did it, I didn't put the Reynolds wrap in there, and my glue kind of went over, or my Mod Podge kind of went over, and it stuck to some of the pages of the notebook. So
or your work surface. Get on the glue.
Well, yeah, I would get on wherever you were doing it. Although I guess you could hold it up in the air, couldn't you? Fun stuff to work with here. Okay, now we're going to use some tea bags. Tea bag paper, excuse me. And I do kind of look for, some of them have a little more staining on them than others. You can't really, this is not big enough for, you can't just put one down. It's not big enough. So I do try to kind of go right to the edge of that, where the black binding is, to put it on there. And you can take a straight edge from your, whoops, I kind of got over there. Let's pull that. So it takes approximately 1.5 tea bag papers, and add a little bit on top, hold it down. I'm going to have to go over here again over the top of that. Now, I kind of like them wrinkled.
Yeah.
I kind of like it wrinkled up a little bit. So, I'm good with that. Now, here's the downside of doing this like at a troop meeting or something. It's got to dry.
Oh.
You got two options. Come back next week.
Okay.
Set them out and come to the next meeting and finish this up. Or you can buy what's called a heat gun. And it looks sort of like a small hair dryer. Costs around $20, $25 at the arts and crafts store, so you can use your 40% off coupon yet again and use it. It was developed for embossing, where you put it on like cards on paper, but you emboss the paper with this powder, and when you heated it up real high, it bonds it. It's beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. So
Would a hairdryer work?
It might, but it would take you a while.
Okay.
The heat gun would have it done pretty quick, about a minute.
Okay.
You'd be dry. So I'm just going to set my brush over to the side here and let it dry. This is next week's project, or whenever we get it dried. So, bye-bye.
Instantly dried.
Instantly dried. Now, I trimmed it off, which it has to be dry when you trim it off. If it's wet, what a mess. Do that and use your file again to go around the edges. You do have one other thing you can do, and that is they make a distress ink. And this one happens to be Vintage Photo is the name of it, and you have a blender tool that you use, and it works.
I'm not going to get this in the kit.
No, you would not get this in your kit, and you don't have to do that. And I'll tell you an alternative to this, and you just kind of do the edges. It gives it a more vintage look.
Use your tea.
Anyway, you can get good edges on it. Doesn't it look nice?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you get it in the camera. You can do the back as well. Just get those edges. I will tell you another little thing you can do. You can take this particular ink that I'm using here is an alcohol-based ink. Sharpie markers are alcohol-based.
Okay.
So you could take some Reynolds wrap, take your brown, in this case, Sharpie marker, color it on there, do a drop of alcohol on it. You could buy, at the Dollar Tree, you could buy those makeup sponges as your little applicator. And then you would just get a little bit of it on there, and then same thing.
Okay.
So way cheaper if you wanted to do it. If you get into paper crafting like I do, though, you'll want all your supplies. All right, I put a little strip down this particular one, and then when I looked at it, it's too bright. I don't like it.
Okay.
So
you can fix that, I guess.
I'm gonna fix it. I cut a piece the same size, and I got this green that is not quite as in your face. And what we're going to use...
Could you also use your
wood
paper?
Yeah. This particular, though, it doesn't really match very well, does it? I would look for a paper that matched a little better. Now, I've got little petals that came from Silk Flowers. Luckily, a friend of mine donated a bunch of these to camp, and I said, oh, I can use a few of those. So you could choose blue, pink. In this particular case, of course, you can buy other colors, but the little ones are not as easy to find. These little bitty petals are not quite as easy to find, but if you go to the store, you're going to have a hard time finding those. I actually meant to bring hot glue, and I didn't,
Oh.
because that would have
Be easier.
been a really fast adherence. Although, let's talk about hot glue and
little
Girl
kids.
Scouts.
Yeah.
I have done, when I've done hot glue stuff in the past with crafts, if I'm doing brownies, you need an adult. The adult needs, the kids need to line up, the brownies need to line up, or daisies even, and say,
I'm ready.
and
to
then
glue.
the whoever is in charge of the hot glue, the adult, can say, where do you want the blue blossom?
Okay.
And the little girl can say, I want it right there. Okay. And we'll put the hot glue there and use our asbestos fingers to put that little thing down. And yeah, that worked. That'll work. So that's what I do. By the time they're juniors, though, they need to learn to do a hot glue gun. And yeah, they're going to get a little burned. You're going to use low temp.
Well, there's a low temp.
Yes, you're going to use low temp. In fact, I hate to do it. I have bought at Dollar Tree before. They have some silicone fingertip things.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
I think you get 2 in a package or something for $1. So that is something that you can indeed put.
There are a lot more around now because of COVID. You put them on your finger and
Really?
punch your name, your
Yeah.
card number
Yeah,
in,
yeah, I
and
hadn't thought of that.
get your gas thing in.
Right. Okay. All right. So in this particular case, I'm going to have to pull my Mod Podge out since I failed to get a. Oh, no. I'm not going to do that. Back up. Tape. We're going to put tape on here. Boop. And this should hold 2. I believe this tape is 3/8 of an inch, so. Or it's just under that.
Could you use
believe.
ribbon down through there?
You could. In fact, I get sort of like either satin or velvet would be pretty.
And you can get it in different widths.
You can. This is 3/4 of an inch. You wouldn't have to have 3/4. It's up to you, but. Come on. Here we go. Wrong side. Okay. And go ahead and do that. Whoops. Little blossoms coming over here. Oh, glasses in the right spot. We just covered it up. I like that much better than that brighter green. Now, if you had, I hadn't thought about it, but if you didn't get close enough here, you could put this back here as well,
Mm-hmm.
if you wanted to. Not a problem. All right, blue, pink, what do you think?
Blue.
Okay. And where would you like those blue blossoms? Do you want them like in a row?
Sure.
Or do you want 2? Do you want 3?
3 in a row.
3 in a row. At the top or?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe I'm going to do the finger method. Boop. You like my sound effect?
Yes. Oh, but
Boop. Oh, not enough glue. Was heavy-handed enough with my glue. I want it to stay. Always good to have a paper towel around if you're using white glue or Mod Podge. And do keep your things like that covered up. Doesn't do well if it doesn't. Now I have another little item that I got from the Dollar Tree in the Crafter's Square section. And these are little stick-on pearls.
Pearl dots, yeah.
And they are, let me get a good look at these. I believe they're in a row.
They're a strip.
They're a strip, so you've got to give them a little cut. Yes, the strip's going that way. Now, the question is, they are glued on the back, but since I have used wet glue underneath, is it going
So you're putting them in the center of the
I'm
flowers.
trying to put them in the center of the flower. I don't know if I'm going to be successful. Oh, that's pretty.
Could you put them on there before you glued them?
I guess you could. I lost it.
Oh well.
Where did it go? Oh, no. I don't know where it went.
It's right there.
Oh, it's there. Okay. Thank you.
So if you were doing a bigger notebook, it would take a lot more tea bags.
True. And yeah, I didn't get that one. Wonder if we touched it too much. That lost its sticky. I really, even though those are sticky, I tend to want to put a little glue.
Glue them down.
To make sure that it's going to stay there. So there's our cute notebook using our recycled tea bags. That's just cute. What would we use that for? Be a great Mother's Day present, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Great. All right. So there is our recycled
Tea bag.
tea bag notebook. Okay. And we need to touch it, but I don't know that I can do it.
Yeah.
We could just keep recording and do another, I don't know.
Well, she was worried about the battery.
Oh, okay.
That one was 28.5 minutes.
Woo, so it took longer than the Traveler's Notebook.